all good things must come to an end. And today on At Your Leisure, we are saying goodbye to one of our own. Steve Heumann, host and reporter here on the show for well over a decade, is moving on to the next adventure in his life. And today, we're celebrating his career by surprising him with a few thrills for his last show. We're also finding out how we can all continue on with him in his storytelling journey. The celebration doesn't stop there. This month marks Reece Stein's 50th year in broadcasting, and we're taking a look back at a half a century. AYL starts right now. Okay.
All right, where are we?
The ground's underneath you. It always has been. Don't worry
Yeah, well,
about
I'm wearing a blindfold half the show.
Why is Steve wearing a blindfold today? Well, today's his last day with At Your Leisure, and we've decided to do something special. You see, Steve started with us as an intern in the fall of 2003, working his way up as a writer, a reporter, host, and eventually our senior producer. And now he's moving on to become a full-time novelist. As we say goodbye, we've enlisted the help of the entire At Your Leisure crew, along with Steve's wife and kids, to help us give him a few surprises for his last really big adventure.
All right, where are we going, Zach?
Oh, you'll see. Door handle down, door handle down.
All right.
There you go. Are my hands especially soft today, Steven?
Yeah, your voice is weird.
What? That's
Now
rude.
you're in front of me, so who's holding my eyes?
Why don't you open your eyes and find out?
Oh, my wife!
There you go.
And all my kids! Airborne, oh, I've always wanted to come here. This is Dash. He's never been on camera before.
It's like taking the fun in the backyard on the trampoline to like grand scale. It's just massive and it never ends. It just keeps going and going and going. Airborne is one of Utah's premium trampoline park arenas. It's a 40,000 square foot facility that has activities that range from for little kids all the way up to adults.
Whoa! That's pretty much what I expected was going to happen, right there.
One of our main areas is our dodgeball course, a section that's netted off where you can be in there with different teams and playing dodgeball just like in PE class, but maybe a lot more enjoyable. But outside of just the trampoline park arena is our mini golf course, but then lastly is our Alcatraz Escape Games, a facility with 5 different escape rooms, all themed. And then there is our Air Ninja course, a set of obstacles from monkey bars to rock walls, rope swings, and everything that really challenge the most elite of guests that come here.
I think for a long time people have been wondering which one of us is a better ninja.
Okay, let's find out.
That was it? That was your lead-in?
Now you got a feel of it? Oh! That was yours.
Oh, he made it smarter.
Little kids can come in here, 1 and 2 year olds, and can have just a blast. But I've seen moms and dads jump in, with their kids as well and be doing flips into foam pits and I think surprising their kids too.
This is only our first stop on Steve's last hurrah. I've got some other surprises planned, but for right now, we're gonna take a quick trip down memory lane.
Steve, I've got a going away present for you, buddy.
Okay, what is it?
Close your eyes. Open your eyes!
Ah! It's a tape player!
It's a tape player, so I assume we're gonna be looking at something here.
This is the first story you ever hosted on At Your
Oh my
Leisure.
gosh, that would be
Remember
the
how old
first
you
time
are?
I ever hosted. Those
Yeah.
12 years ago, I would have been 28 years old.
That's how old I am. Right
So in
now.
12 years, you'll be having a retrospective like this.
Oh, gosh.
Oh my gosh, listen to that.
Welcome to At Your Leisure. This is going to be a show unlike any other.
Oh, look at you.
Yep.
Look at your hair.
The first thing we did is we had to drive up this canyon. So this was at point of the mountain,
Okay.
and we drove up the canyon, and I never had seen that there was this canyon there before. I had no idea because I'd never looked up while driving by on I-15. And unfortunately, that canyon no longer exists. It has been completely obliterated by the mine.
So this doesn't exist anymore.
It does not, and it was a really big canyon. I mean, you can see there's an I-15 way down there.
Who's filming this?
This would be Todd Kohler. Oh no, it was Drew. This is Drew filming right now.
Drew?
This is Drew Tyler.
Oh my
a good friend of ours.
Drew
This is
taught
Drew.
me everything I know. Steve didn't teach me anything.
No, it was all Drew. I'll readily admit that. This is where the fun stuff gets in. So
What time of year is this?
this was in November. It was November 1st of 2006.
You go paragliding in November? That seems cold.
Yeah, yeah. No, it wasn't bad. It was at the end.
Look at the cojones on you.
Yeah.
Oh, is this like your first stand-up?
Yep.
We have a new entire line of motorcycles to talk about.
Is that you taking off?
Okay, so let's
Oh
go
my
back
gosh.
to okay.
Did you just biff it?
Yeah, so the
I
envelope
wanna
got
see
caught
this.
on a bush,
Here it is.
and so we fell. We couldn't get up enough, and so here we
He's
go.
flying. Oh, he's
And
flying.
there we're going down the hill, and we fall. So you can hear it. We go, Well, so we fell actually pretty far. See,
Your
my
shoe's
shoe's
not
not all
all
right.
right? What do
It
you mean?
ripped the sole off of my shoe.
Seriously?
It seriously did.
Whoa!
And there's my shoes. Yeah,
Holy
see?
crap!
So it ripped the sole completely off. And we fell pretty far, and it hit a rock, and it ripped it right off.
Oh my gosh.
But if you look at all the rest of the footage of the show,
Are you one-shoed?
I am no-shoed. And you can see right there my socks.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Flying off into the sunset. What's it like up there?
When you get up there, it's really silent
Okay.
because you can barely hear anything because you're up so high. And it's incredibly easy to do. Like this was a day where there was zero wind, none. That was the only reason we had to go up to the top and run off.
Normally it would just pick you up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we are way up high, but normally even if there's any kind of wind at all, you can do it down by the houses, down below, and just walk off and it'll take you up.
Best place on the entire planet to come out here.
Best place on the entire planet to come out and experience.
Is that true?
That is.
Historic, really. You know, we have hang gliding as early as the 70s in this area. And back in World War II, they did some sailplane training on this hill. And since that time, it's slowly grown to be one of the most well-known free flight places for hang gliding and paragliding in the world. In fact, if you mention it to anyone who flies paragliders or hang gliders in the world, they'll know the point of the mountain. It's kind of where people go to get their PhD in flying.
You know what's interesting?
What?
The stuff that you're saying right here and the way you're speaking is the exact same way you speak right now.
I know, right?
There's been like this as far as evolution of Steve reporting.
Oh!
No, it's good. It's good. It's good, but it's always the experience. And
I
this
know.
is something you'll want to bring out your friends
family to do.
and your family. Da-da-da. Well, I'm Steve Heumann. The only reason you didn't do this is because you were flying, and if you did, you would have steered all over. You're
Yeah.
like,
Well, I'm gonna say just right now, I'm gonna say paragliding is an experience you and your family have to get out and enjoy, and it was just absolutely amazing. 12 years later, still very memorable.
So what you're saying is you like adventures where you can be up in the air?
Yeah.
Good to know.
So,
Good to know.
okay, so what do you got any more
No
surprises
reason.
for me? All right, we gotta take a commercial break. We'll be back, but apparently, I guess I'm gonna have to put the blindfold back on.
You know, there's still a lot of beautiful fall camping, but you think to yourself, it's the end of the season, I don't want to buy a motorhome now. But what about the clearance prices? Well, what if we could make a deal with you right now at Ray City RV where you could buy the dream motorhome or trailer of your choice and not have any payments to make till 2019? You can with the buy now, pay later plan. You pick the RV, all of them apply. Ray City RV, Utah's low price leader since 1946.
There's a little place on a Utah map where I was raised, where my heart's at, where the sagebrush grows wild and high, and the stars come out at night. Oh, there ain't nothing like being raised in the basin with a Ute reservation, skiing starvation, that Duchesne County life.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. I'm Corinne Smart. I'm here with our wonderful friend, Bakin Bill.
Bakin Bill Johnson.
Bakin Bill Johnson.
That's right.
And what are you going to make with us today?
We're doing an easy apple brown Betty today.
How do we make it?
We're going to start with apples. Generally use fresh apples off your tree, peel them and everything, but this is going to be easy. So we're using canned fruit.
The one thing that's really nice about these is that if you're going camping, you don't have to spice the apples, prepare them before, you just open up a can.
Voila. Very simple, just spread that around a little bit. And we're going to add some spices to this, that being ground cinnamon, nutmeg. You want to stir that around in there now?
Smells like apple pie already. How often do you just like take a spoonful out? Really? Oh, that's like my fault in cooking.
Especially I don't do that if we have anything with eggs in it. You know why?
Salmonella?
Yeah.
But I'll risk it.
In our next pan or bowl, whichever you have, dump that butter in.
5 teaspoons. Oh, tablespoons. 5 tablespoons.
Yep. We're going to add our oatmeal now, and let's put in about a cup of oatmeal. Okay, let's add our brown sugar, a 1/4 cup, half a cup of flour. We're going to kind of integrate it in so it looks like a crumbly.
Yeah.
Sprinkle that over our Dutch oven apples.
Trying to even it out so it's easier to spread.
Now at this point, I want to put a little bit more cinnamon on there.
Okay.
And this will help to give it a kind of a brown. Let's put our lid on. This is a 10-inch oven. There's a formula we want to use with the charcoal, and that is double the 10. So we're using how many?
20 coals.
20 coals. And we want 1/3 underneath the bottom, and we want 2/3 on top. So what's 1/3 of 20?
I haven't done math since college.
Now it's going to cook until we start to smell it. Here actually in about 10 minutes we will take a look and we will pull every other coal to the middle. Okay. Otherwise the center is not going to be cooked as well as the outside edge.
I think I can smell it. Yeah. It looks delicious. It's begging for some ice cream or whipped cream. You can tell that it's done by, like, when it's crispy on top, kind of.
Yeah. Generally the recipe calls for a caramel topping, but I couldn't locate it, so we're using a chocolate.
And I can't believe how warm it is.
Yes.
It's like steamy. Can you see that?
Ready?
They're good. Well, while I enjoy this whole plate, don't go anywhere. At your leisure in just a minute.
The air is crisp, the sun is shining, the snow is deep. Living in Utah, we all know that the weather changes quickly. Don't miss one weekend of winter riding without a new Polaris snowmobile from Stebbins Recreation in Tooele. It's the Polaris factory authorized clearance. Right now, get financing as low as 3.99% for 36 months and a $2,000 rebate on all 2018 snowmobiles and a 3.99% for 48 months and a $400 rebate on select timber sled kits. Stebbins Recreation in Tooele has Utah's largest selection of recreational vehicles, including a huge selection of Polaris snowmobiles. Stebbins.net.
The Polaris factory authorized clearance is here. Get the year's biggest deals on the world's best-selling off-road lineup. Chase adventure on a legendary sportsman. Get more done with a hard-working Ranger. Or attack the off-road with a high-performance Razor. Now's the time to buy with rebates up to $2,000 during the Polaris factory authorized clearance.
The all-new Yamaha Wolverine X4 offers 4 times the proven off-road capability, 4 times the comfort, and 4 times the confidence to deliver 4 times the excitement on your next outdoor adventure.
All right, Stevie Ray, where do you think we're going for Steve's last hurrah stop number 2?
I think we're going skydiving.
Nope.
Well, because on the calendar it said that we're going to Tooele.
Other things to do in Tooele.
And I know that you're planning something bigger, and so I know that in Tooele you can go skydiving.
Nope,
so
it's not skydiving.
And then today Corinne had her hair like in pigtails and they were braided, and so I'm pretty sure we're going skydiving.
Nope. Ta-da!
We're at an airport.
Yeah, we're going skydiving.
Yeah, I know. I figured it out.
Nope.
It's just a super, super unique experience. It's really something you have to try to know what it's like. You're scared, it's fun, there's wind, it's the view, it's, you know, the temperature, it's just like the whole experience itself is all just really, really fun, and you really have to try it to see what it's like. Everything, nothing else compares. We have been here at this location for a pretty long time, since about 2001. You watch a quick video that kind of explains a little bit about what you're going to be doing and kind of things to work on during the jump. Pretty much everybody says it was awesome.
Okay, fun fact. So Corinne and I actually met, this was like 10 years ago, right here, when her dad, Roland Stedham, who used to be the weatherman in Salt Lake, actually was skydiving.
Yeah, for the show.
On the show, for the show, and I was out filming him, and Corinne came out to do her first skydive. All right, Chad, so how long has it been since you've taken a skydive?
Go and let that go. 1970.
Ooh, we're going back. 1978. Well, I know for a fact that was 40 years ago, because that's the year I was born.
I'm nervous, dude. I'm nervous excited.
As soon as you actually jump out of the plane and you're actually in free fall and you're falling through the sky, everything changes. All of a sudden, it's just, all that goes away, all the fear goes away, all the anxiety goes away, and you're really just having fun, falling down, looking at the view, all the winds rushing past you.
This was easily the most relaxed skydiving experience I've ever had. All right, 40 years later, how was it?
Wow, they handle a lot differently than the round ones.
When you're in free fall there for that first part, it's just pure adrenaline.
I peed my pants just a little bit. I'm not joking. A little bit came out.
So we are a full school here. We're part of the USPA, United States Parachute Association, and we teach a program called Accelerated Free Fall. It's AFF for short, and that is the program that you go through to learn how to skydive on your own.
So we've got, you know, all of the best instructors, so they're all really, really good guys, and it's just a really fun place to come jump.
All right, if you're gonna go on a last shoot, this is the one to go on. All right, we still have some more stuff to show off for my last show, but right now, we've got a really cool story for you. Reece Stein, everybody knows he is the premier outdoorsman in Utah, in probably the entire West. He has just hit his 50th anniversary on the air as an outdoor reporter, and we wanted to tell that story.
But we've still got a long way to go from here, about 1,000-foot rock scramble up to the top of Kings.
That was Reece Stein in 1983. He's reporting from the top of Kings Peak with his son by his side. Now, at that point, Reece had already been an outdoor reporter for more than a decade. He traveled around the world. He'd met people from every walk of life, told stories that inspired and uplifted. But in a lot of ways, it was still only the beginning. Now, 2018 marks 50 years in the outdoors for Reece Stein, reporting and filming his exploits from one corner of the globe to the other. His memories are recorded in countless stories, cataloging the adventures of life and the people that make it worth living. The most surprising thing, though, is that Reece's journey actually started with some bad news.
Well, I came back out of the Army in 1968, and I started looking for work. I thought I had a job at the University of Utah, but Kennecott was on strike, and the U had to cut back their budget, and they cut back the job I was supposed to get. So the guy I was supposed to work for took me around to all the media, and luckily for me, the news director at Channel 2 was a Korean War veteran. I had just come back from Korea. We sat together for 2 hours and told war stories, and he hired me. I was a news reporter, general assignments. In those days, we had a half hour of local news from 6 to 6:30. Channel 2 decided to expand its local news to an hour, and they were worried they wouldn't be able to fill that second half hour. He said, "You're going to be the outdoor reporter." And I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "You're going to cover the outdoors." And I said, "You mean you want me to go hunting and fishing and camping and hiking and skiing, motorcycling and snowmobiling, and you're going to pay me?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Let me check, but I think I can work that into my busy schedule."
And that was the beginning of an odyssey that has continued uninterrupted for 50 years. Where most reporters are forced to shift from city to city across the country and change their focus multiple times in order to further their careers, Reece has been able, through the power of his personal storytelling style, to do what he loved without compromise. The outdoors became his news studio, and that led him to locales that many of us don't even know exist.
The places I have gotten to go, I've done stories in every nook and cranny in the state of Utah and in most of the intermountain states, at least 50 foreign countries. And then the people you meet are amazing, especially the kids.
And you know, some of those kids not only left lasting impressions, but became the focus of some of his favorite work.
Well, my all-time favorite story is called Sam's First Buck. And this is a story about a 14-year-old boy from Cedar City who was born with severe birth defects. He just had a torso, no legs. Dad had to carry him around, but he got a free deer hunting expedition when he turned 14. And I got to go out with him and his dad and his brother looking for deer. And it turned out to be my all-time favorite story. Later that day, right at sunset, he was able to take the deer that they wanted him to take. And it was just one of those magical stories that just came together.
Over the course of his career, Reece worked for Salt Lake City stations before finally, 10 years ago now, settling in with At Your Leisure. Since then, he's traveled with his trusty field producer and wife, Mary Ann. He and Mary Ann have covered stories from right next door all the way to some of the most exotic locales on Earth: India, Africa, Europe, Antarctica. I mean, even right now, he's filming a story in Lithuania. Where he'll be next, that's anyone's guess. After 50 years of reporting, Reece has earned the right to go wherever he wants. And you know, he wouldn't have it any other way.
I love it. I love getting out. I love the people that I've worked with in the outdoors. The outdoor people are the best. And just to be out with them and to have an excuse every couple of weeks to go out and be with them and to take their picture and to hear their stories. I want people to get off the couch when they're done, when the show's over, to turn off their TV and start packing up to head to the outdoors. It's been a phenomenal 50 years. I just hope the next 50 years are as much fun.
And you know, my friend, we all hope the same thing. Reece, congratulations on 50 years. We'll be there for the next 50 too. I'm Terry Wood.
Reece Stein, Newswatch 2 in Yellowstone.
In a place that is beyond words, there is nothing to be said, except take your time in Bryce Canyon country.
Meet the new leader in off-road utility, the completely reinvented Ranger XP 1000. It's got the most power, the largest towing capacity, the highest ground clearance, and the best comfort and storage. Introducing the all-new Polaris Ranger XP 1000, the hardest working, smoothest riding Ranger ever built.
The Utah Farm Bureau began as a collection of farmers supporting each other to raise the food we enjoy. Today, Farm Bureau membership encompasses everyone, whether ranchers, growers, or just everyday folks like you and me. Members enjoy discounts on items like vehicles and ATVs, or insurance that's very affordable. You don't have to be a farmer to join, and dues are small, but together we make a big difference in keeping our food supply local and abundant. Join Utah Farm Bureau.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. You can take that off.
Okay. Oh man, it's bright.
All right.
So we're up the canyon, I'm going to assume.
We're kind of rounding the turn here, starting with a conversation that Steve and I had very early on when he was still just full of young curly locks coming to the show nearly 15 years ago. It's been a long time.
It has.
And I said, take one of our ATVs and go out for a weekend and ride. And you said, you know what? If I had time off, I'd just rather go hike in a canyon, so that's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
How many streams have we strolled along in the last 15 years?
Oh my gosh, I couldn't even postulate a guess. I mean, we've gone from the Colorado River, you know, rafting or whatever, to just streams in Costa Rica, you know, I mean.
Halfway around the world.
Yeah, exactly.
You out at Pyramid Lake at one point?
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because that was a shoot when I was so early, you know, just being a producer and everything, that I was still nervous to ask people to do an interview.
Really?
I was.
No,
I seriously was. Like, I remember being there with my wife, and I think Max was a little baby, like almost newborn.
What of all the places you've been, what is that one outstanding spot?
For me personally, I think it would be Costa Rica, just because we got to go 2 times. We went to the jungle and we walked along those bridges, and we saw the monkeys and all that stuff. And then at the end of the day, we went and filmed at the hot springs. The one experience that I had that really defined a lot of At Your Leisure for me over the past 15 years was the first time I ever went to the Wedge on the San Rafael Swell. Because when I got there and I looked out over it, and just how grand it is, just how amazing it is, and I thought, this is a place that I should have known existed, and I didn't know. And so much of what we've experienced, so much of what I've experienced has been that way.
All right, so I'm going to switch gears. What was the dumbest thing you've done?
The dumbest thing that I've ever done in 15 years? God, there's been plenty of those.
Yeah. Well, I have my opinion.
Yeah. Tokerville Falls.
Yeah.
I jumped off of a waterfall without testing whether the water was deep enough.
Oh, that wasn't deep at all.
You were nervous and scared when you first started doing interviews. You felt a little uncomfortable. Are you feeling it again as you're about ready to jump into a novelist's career?
We've thought a lot about it. We feel, both my wife and I feel really strongly about it. And so it's a very different world, but it's also really exciting, because I can take a lot of the things that I've learned and the people that I've met and the experiences that I've had, and I can incorporate all of it. And so for me, it doesn't feel necessarily like a totally different situation. It feels like it's going to be something new, obviously, but built off of everything that's come before. So right now, right after you watch this, you can go to the AYL Facebook page, you can go to superhuman.com, you can sign up for a newsletter. The book will be published within the next 6 to 8 weeks, and it'll be online. There's going to be an audiobook for it. And so I want everybody who's interested in just to see, you know, what happens to join me on this journey. I'm going to be doing blog posts, and so we can all continue to be friends.
We've come to the last few minutes of the last half hour of the last 15 years.
Well, now you're making me sad.
Don't be sad. And don't you be sad, because think of it, from this day forward, what we've always said, there's adventure around every bend. Well, now there are 2 ways to find it: in Steven's novels and here on At Your Leisure. Good luck to you, buddy.
Thank you. Love this guy. All right, well, I guess that's it. So, as we always say, get out there and create your own adventure.
At your leisure. Come on, we got to get a pen for you. You got to write this down. Hold hands. There we go.
Something tells me I'm into something good.
If you're gonna go out, you might as well go out with a bang. Or with a bounce, I guess, in this case.